Welcome back, Sebastian here. So today I'm going to be doing my preview for Season 10 of Formula E, which is due to start in about a week's time. So first, taking a look at the calendar for this year's season. We'll be starting out in Mexico City like it did last year. First race on January 13th. Then we go to Diriyah for a doubleheader January 26th and January 27th. We were then supposed to go to Hyderabad in India February 10th, but that race has been cancelled basically due to a change in the local government. So that means that instead of having 1 month gaps between races, we have a 2 month gap effectively between January 27th and March 16th, which kind of sucks for the fans and for building momentum for this year's season. That's something that I want to talk about a bit further in a different video, but for now, let's just stay on topic. Fourth round of the season, Sao Paulo, March 16th, like I said, and then we get the first of 3 new rounds going to Tokyo, March 30th. That should be a lot of fun. Then we get another doubleheader, this time in Misano, April 13th and 14th. This is replacing the Rome E-Prix, officially because of the safety concerns of the track after the crashes that we had last year. Monaco, April 27th, Berlin doubleheader May 11th and May 12th. Then our last new track of the season, Shanghai, May 25th and May 26th. A month later, we go back to the United States, Portland for June 29th and June 30th. And we wrap up the season 3 weeks later in London, July 20th and July 21st. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double headers. That's most of the season being in double headers. That's definitely something that's been a trend that we've seen in the last couple of years of more double headers. I understand for sustainability reasons and financial reasons, probably it's cheaper. It's better for the environment to have these kinds of double headers. I would prefer to have just have single races every weekend, but that's the way it is. Now, before I get into drivers, my predictions for drivers champion and teams champion, I want to take a look at the 11 teams competing in the 22 drivers in Formula E this season. So we'll go in order of teams, the teams championship standings from last year. So first is Envision. Their 2 drivers this season will be Robin Freins, who is a new driver coming over from from the Abt team, and Sebastian Buemi. Freins, 32 years old, 89 career entries. Last season finished 22nd in the championship, and his best result in Formula E is a 4th place finish. Best championship result. Obviously, he's won races, but yeah, best championship finish is 4th. Sebastian Buemi, 35 years old, one of the most senior drivers in the sport. 114 races for him, or 114 entries for him. He came 6th last year, and of course he is the Season 2 champion. Now, moving to second in the team's championship from last year, we have Jaguar. They will be having a all Kiwi lineup this year. Mitch Evans, of course, is staying, 29 years of age. Of course, Nick Cassidy will be coming over from the Envision team, also 29 years of age. For Evans, 95 races in his career, and he finished 3rd in the championship last season, and of course his best career finish is 2nd. For Cassidy, 47 career races, 2nd in the championship this past season, and of course that is his best ever championship finish in Formula E. 3rd in the team's championship, we have Porsche. Their 2 drivers are Pascal Wehrlein of Germany and Antonio Felix da Costa of Portugal. Wehrlein, 29 years of age, 68 career races, 4th this past season, which is his best result in his career. For da Costa, 32 years of age, 112 races, competing in every season of Formula E, finished 9th this past season, and he is, of course, the Season 6 champion at that time, driving for Techeetah. Then we get to Andretti. Their 2 drivers, reigning champion Jake Dennis, 28 years of age, and Norman Nato, who's coming over from the Nissan team, 31 years of age. For Jake Dennis, the Brit, 47 career races. Of course, this past season was Formula E champion, and that is his best result, obviously. For Nato, 33 career races. Best result this past season, finished 10th in the championship, and that is his best career result as well. Then we move over to DS Penske. Had a bit of a struggle this past season. I think expectations were quite a bit higher with basically what was the old Dragon team merging together with what was effectively a lot of the technical staff from the Techeetah team merging together, as well as bringing Stoffel Vandoorne on board. I think expectations were very, very high. Fortunately, things didn't really go quite as planned. For Vern, 33 years of age, 114 career races, 5th this past season, and of course is the only double champion in Formula E's history. For Vandoorne, 31 years of age, 71 career races, joining the series in season 5. This past season finished 11th in the championship, and his best result is winning the championship, winning the series in season 8. 6th last year was Maserati. Their two drivers this coming season are Max Günther from Germany and Jehan Daruvala, a rookie coming over from Formula 2. For Günther, 26 years of age, honestly not as old as many people would think. 68 career races for him, 7th this past season, which is his best career finish, which is kind of surprising given the years that he had a pretty strong BMW car. For Daruvala, obviously has never raced in Formula E, 25 years of age. I have his stats here. He of course spent the last 4 years was in Formula 2. His best championship finish was 7th, which he did twice. He has 1 feature race win and 3 sprint race wins. For Daruvala, I don't think expectations are super high. He doesn't have the best junior record. Of course, he was kind of peaked out as a mid-level driver in Formula 2. I think is definitely good enough to be on the Formula E grid, but at the same time, he doesn't have an absolutely stellar resume coming into the series. So I do think that it would definitely be fair to temper expectations going into this year. And I'll talk about that a bit more when I do my team predictions at the end of this video. 7th, Nissan, their 2 drivers for this coming season, Sasha Fenestras and Oliver Rowland. Rowland, of course, drove for Mahindra this last year and then left midway through the year. Fenestras, 24 years of age, 17 career races, 16th in the championship last year, which of course his only full season. So that is his best career result. For Fenestras, I think a lot of good qualifying speed this past season, but I think the energy and the energy management is definitely something that he needs to work on. For Rowland, 31 years of age, 65 races, quite experienced, 21st in the championship last year, basically only a half season, and his best result in Formula E is 5th. Then we get to McLaren. We're almost through this. McLaren bringing in Sam Bird from Jaguar, and of course retaining Jake Hughes from last season. Bird, 36 years of age, 114 races, one of the highest on the board. I think basically again one of the original crew who was there from the season 1. 8th in the championship last year, and his best result in the championship is 3rd. Next, 9th, what was formerly the Neo team last year is rebranding as ERT. Their 2 drivers, same as last year, Dan Ticktum and Sergio Sette Camara. Ticktum, 24 years of age, 32 career races, 17th in the championship last year, which is his best career result. For Sette Camara, 25 years of age, 1 extra season, 53 races total. His best result is 20th in the championship, which is what he did last year as well as the year before. So quite low, but again, for Sette Camara, he's never really been able to drive the best cars. For 10th, Mahindra, all new driver lineup, a pretty decent lineup for a team that had such a bad record. Mortara and Nick De Vries, of course, coming over from Formula 1 after being dropped by AlphaTauri mid-season. For Mortara, 36 years of age, 80 races, 14th in the championship last year. A bit of a tough year, and best championship result of 2nd in the championship. For De Vries, 28 years of age, 42 career races, of course didn't race last year in Formula E, and he is the season 7 champion of Formula E. Lastly, Abt, Di Grassi coming over from Mahindra and retaining Nico Muller. Di Grassi, the oldest driver on the grid, 39 years of age, and also the most experienced, 116 entries. He finished 15th in the championship last year, of course driving a very poor Mahindra car, and he is the Season 3 champion. For Miller, 31 years of age, 34 career races, best result of 19th, which was this past season. So now, we're already up at 10 minutes or so. So to finish up this video, I want to just go over some predictions, predicting who will be coming out on top in each team's head-to-head in the championship, and then going over my teams and drivers champions. So starting out with Envision, Fines and Buemi. Buemi had a good year, not a great year for Fines. Of course, broke his wrist in the first race, and a number of things really never got back on track. I think this is going to be a tough one to call. I think for now I'm going to go with, tentatively, I'm going to give the advantage to Fines. I do think that if he can rebound to the level that he showed with Envision before he went to Apt, or even against when he was partnered with Cassidy, or when he was partnered with Bird, I do think that he should be able to come out on top in this teammate head-to-head. Next, moving to Jaguar, Evans and Cassidy. I think this is a really, really tight one, given that the two drivers were basically in a championship fight all season this past year. That being said, I'm going to give the slight advantage to Evans, given he is the incumbent driver at Jaguar. He's a guy who's been there for a very, very long time. He knows the team very, very, very well. I know it's the same powertrain, but I feel like they're two drivers that are very, very closely matched. So at that point, this is really the only real advantage that Evans has. So I'm going to give the advantage to Evans. Next, for Porsche, Verlaine and DaCosta. Their first year as teammates was this past season. Verlaine came out on top that one pretty easily. I think a lot of people were surprised by that. That being said, for Verlaine, I do feel like by the end of the season, it was pretty even between the two of them. Verlaine really capitalized on those opening 3 races to get that massive points advantage, and he kind of maintained that advantage the whole season. For this year, I'm honestly not too sure who to pick. I think I'm going to go with DaCosta. I think through the season, his form improved, and I think as long as he can carry that over to next season, he should. I do think he should be able to best Verlaine over the course of the season. For number 4, for Andretti, I think this is a pretty easy one. I'm going to go with Jake Dennis. No offense to Norman Nato, I think he's a good driver. I'm curious to see what he does in the Andretti, but Dennis has been operating on such a high level for the past couple seasons. Destroyed Lauder, destroyed Askew. I do expect Nato to do a little bit better than those two drivers, but I do think that Dennis is going to have a big advantage in the team's head-to-head there. Then we get to DS Penske, Vernon and Van Dorn. Similar kind of situation to Porsche with Verlaine and DaCosta. I remember doing when I looked at the basically when I did my season reviews in the summer, the stats were actually surprisingly similar. The qualifying was basically dead even between the two of them. So it definitely showed that kind of deficiency was really in the races. Vernon's a fantastic driver though. He's shown that he's quick in Gen 1 cars, Gen 2 cars, Gen 3 cars. And for Van Dorn, he was really, really quick in Gen 2. And I did feel like he struggled quite a bit this past season. I do think he'll get better, and he should do better this coming season, but I think I'm still going to give the advantage to Vern. Then we get to Maserati, I think another easier one. Derula coming in as a rookie, and the fact that he doesn't have the biggest pedigree. Gunther had a pretty good season this past year after a bit of a slow start, and with Formula E having been notorious as a series where it has quite a steep learning curve, I'm going to give the advantage to Gunther. For Nissan, Fenestraz and Rowland I think is a tough one. Fenestraz showed really good qualifying pace this past year. Rowland himself is a really good qualifier, has a number of pole positions. I do think neither of them are the best racers and the cleanest drivers, and they are prone to mistakes. Rowland though is quite experienced, 65 races compared to Fenestraz is 17. So I do think I'm going to predict that Rowland comes out ahead there. Next from McLaren, Bird and Hughes. I think this is going to be a really tough one. Hughes had a pretty good season this past year against Rast, but Bird, of course, is a very experienced driver. Of course, going up against Mitch Evans is a very tall task. That being said, I do think I'm going to take Bird. I think his experience and I think having an easier teammate to go against and will allow him to consolidate the power within the team around himself. I think mentally as well, we know he's a driver that's definitely struggled a bit on the mental side the last couple seasons, I think being in a bit of a lower pressure environment, I don't think McLaren are going to be competing for the championship. I do think that Bird is going to have a pretty good year at McLaren. Next we get to ERT. This one I think is fairly easy. Same driver alignment last year. Ticktum was notably quicker than Seti Kamara, and I don't think that's going to change this coming season. So I'm going to pick Ticktum there. Now we get to Mahindra, Mortar, and De Vries. I think a really tough one. Both two newer drivers. Mortar didn't have a great year in season 9, and the fact that he's getting up there in age, he's I believe tied second oldest driver, 36 years of age with Bird. I think that might contribute. He didn't really ever get to grips with the Gen 3 car. De Vries, young, of course he's a champion. It's kind of a tough one to call. I do think it's going to be a very high event driver lineup, but I think for this I'm going to go with De Vries. Perhaps he can adjust to the Gen 3 car a bit better than Mortar has. Then we get to the last one, Abt, De Grassi, and Muller. Really tough one to call. I think for Muller, he had a really good year against Frijns. How much of that was Muller's personal improvement, how much of that was Frijns being held back by his injury, it's really hard to say. But De Grassi had a really good year last year at Mahindra, moving over to a team with the same powertrain. Despite his age, I do think that De Grassi will come out on top here. So to finish up, we're going to go over Drivers' Champion and Teams' Champion. So of course with Formula E, it's a 2-year homologation cycle. So the powertrain itself, they have to bring over from the same powertrain they used in season 9, they have to bring over to season 10. So that means that I don't expect massive changes in terms of the pecking order. I think you're still going to see Jaguar, Porsche at the front. Maybe the DS Penske's and the Maserati are maybe able to close up a little bit, but basically these teams down here, the Nissan, Mahindra power unit, as well as the ERT/Neo powertrain, I don't think they're really going to be able to make enough improvement to really compete for the title this season. Of course, they can still make software changes, so you will see some changes there and some improvements there, as well as setup changes, given that they will have a year of experience with these cars and they will know these cars a lot better. So I think that being said, for Teams Champion, I think just based on the quality of their driver lineup alone, I think it's going to be very, very hard to go against Jaguar. The fact that they have the drivers who finished second and third in the championship last year in Evans and Cassidy, I think a very, very strong lineup, arguably the strongest lineup on the grid. And I do think that with Envision losing Cassidy, bringing in Frijns, I do think Frijns is good, but I do think that in that kind of battle across the top 4 teams, I do think that Jaguar should come out on top. The other thing as well, compared to the Porsche and Andretti, they definitely came on much stronger through the season. Porsche had a very good start. Of course, the Porsche/Andretti won the first 3 races quite easily, but then after that, Jaguar did look better over the rest of the season. So I do kind of expect that to continue next season, or this season. So that's why I'm picking Jaguar as my team's champion. For Drivers' Champion, I think this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with a new champion, Mitch Evans. I've already picked him to come out on top in that Drivers' Champion, or in that teammate head-to-head. So the fact that I'm picking Jaguar as the team's champion obviously suggests that I think they're going to have a very good car. And I do think that this will be Evans' year and he'll come out and win the championship. That being said, don't count out Jake Dennis on repeating a very, very strong driver, one in what was arguably not the best car. Of course, Cassie I think is in with a shout, Caroline DaCosta as well, and I think you can never really count out Frijns or Buemi either. Of course, if either the DS Penske or the Maserati were in that fight, I think Vern would definitely be hungry for another championship as well. So there you go, my preview of Season 10 of Formula E. We're up to 19 minutes now, and that's going to take forever to upload, but so be it. Really, really excited for Formula E this season, and hopefully everyone is as well. Thank you so much for watching, and to let me know in the comments below who are your drivers' champions and team champions for Season 10 of Formula E. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.